In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a reference asset. We create reference assets primarily for two reasons. Firstly, as a template. Often when we are undertaking whole-of-life calculations, we're doing so to compare costs across a range of assets, and typically an amount of the information that we're going to enter into the calculation is common. For example, if we're comparing a range of utilities, then the utilization for those utilities will be common across all assets, let's say 30,000 kilometers. Similarly, the useful life of the assets will be the same, and organizational information such as opportunity cost will remain constant across all options. So we can use a reference asset to create effectively a template that we enter that common data into, and that saves us having to re-enter that every time we undertake a calculation. The second way a reference asset is used is when we don't have enough information to be able to undertake a calculation, and we can access existing reference documents to get that detail to undertake the calculation. So now I'm going to create a reference asset that we will use as a template in a later whole-of-life calculation. To do so, we go to the Reference Asset button that takes us to the Reference List page, and we select New Reference and we start to complete this. We'll include a description so that we can identify this reference document later, and I'll call it Tutorial Example. Now I will enter a make and model, but I won't enter a series. We then enter an asset type. I can start typing utility, that's popped up. I select that from the drop-down and it populates the cell. Also, the residual value will change with each of the examples that I undertake. But I will enter a budgeted utilization because that's going to be common. The useful life is also common at 5 years. In this example, the organization has set an opportunity cost rate of 7%, and we have a total fleet value of $450,000. The registration cost is $900. The organization pays an insurance premium of $50,000 to the total fleet, and it has an administrative overhead of $120,000. Also, the property value is $150,000, and the garaging percentage is 10%. In this particular case, there is no FBT applicable, so I'm going to put 0. Now we've come down to the variable costs. Our fuel cost per liter is $2, and fuel consumption will vary in each calculation, so I'll leave that. Now there's no oil required between servicing, so I'll put a 0 in there. And for tires, we're going to replace 4 tires at a cost of $300. And we expect that we're going to replace the tires every 40,000 kilometers. The average annual service and repair costs will change from vehicle to vehicle, so I'm going to leave that at this point. And I'm going to put a 0 as a total risk allowance because these vehicles are being used in an environment where we understand how they perform fairly well. And for budget utilization, I'll just put back in that utilization rate that we established earlier. So that's all we needed to do. We click on the flashing tick to save that, and that reference document has been saved. So I go back home, and now we're ready to undertake a whole-of-life calculation.